Hello, my name is Jenna Burns. I'm a senior here at Kentucky Wesleyan College. I run track and I'm a team leader for campus ministries. I'm also the co-president of SAC, and I'm here to tell you guys my story. So I want to start out by just giving like a little brief look into just my faith journey as I grew up. So I started out in Cornerstone United Methodist Church where I played upward basketball. So if you don't know what that is, it's just like a faith-based program for kids to play basketball, and I played that from, kindergarten all the way through up until you couldn't play anymore, and absolutely loved it, but I didn't even actually go to church there. I just went to the upward practices and games and everything like that. And then come 7th grade, I believe, I started going to youth group there because one of my best friends from middle school invited me, and then from there I started going to church there, and I ended up being confirmed in the United Methodist Church and really started to dive into my faith journey, I would say. But also looking back, I know that I think I was just kind of going through the motions in that part of my life. I definitely wasn't fully understanding what was happening, and I don't want to say I wasn't saved because I had accepted Jesus into my heart, but I know personally I wasn't confident in my salvation at that point, if that makes sense, and I will get into that a little more later too. And then I also remember very specifically in high school, there was a lot of moments where I was just very desperate for Jesus, and a specific moment on my bed where I was sobbing over a boy, and I grabbed my Bible, which I never even opened hardly before that. I'd probably opened it twice in years, and I just flipped open the page hoping that I would open my eyes and there would be something there for me to read that would solve all my problems. I was just pulling God off a shelf in that moment, and that's not how it works, and I learned that later, of course, but I think I just opened to some random page in Numbers, which I think is funny looking back as well, but I was just so upset and crying in that moment. I couldn't even see through those tears and that sadness in my heart, and I needed God so desperately, but I wasn't ready for him, I think is the best way to put it. And it really wasn't until through college that I feel like I finally just learned a lot and grown a lot in my faith and become confident in my salvation. And so I would like to tell you guys a little bit about that. In these next few minutes, I came up with 5 points of just things that God has taught me throughout these past 4 years as I'm about to graduate college. I've learned a lot, grown so much closer to Jesus. I'm firm in my salvation and in my faith now. So the first point is that I learned that he freely offers peace and joy all the time. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." So throughout college, I've gone through track injuries and lots of ups and downs, but no matter what, I can be like this because I have peace and joy from Christ. Number 2, I've learned that I need to stop doubting. I've had times where I've doubted his presence, my own salvation, like I mentioned, his power, his love, everything. And I had a specific moment at Passion Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, a little over a year ago, where I was in this big room with thousands of people from all over the country and all over the world worshiping him. And Satan crept in and was trying to get me, I think, to doubt if any of that was even real. I was having these thoughts of, oh, there's all these people here, cool, but are they really worshiping with genuine hearts? Is this even real? Is God even here? And I heard this clear as day voice say in my left ear, I can picture how it felt and how it sounded, "I am right here." And so I know that not everybody will hear directly from God like that, but we're all going to hear from God all the time, and I just got fortunate enough to be in that moment and hear that. And now anytime I'm doubting anything, I always go back to that moment and remember that no matter where I am, he is right here, just like he says. Number 3 point is I've learned that as a Christian, I'm called to not blend in. So Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." So I know that I'm going to face temptation. I know that I'm going to mess up. That's part of it. I need to continue working every day to be transformed. And just through college life, there's a lot of revival happening, I believe that, for sure. And there are plenty of college kids that love and serve the Lord every day, but still, when you think college, you think all of those temptations that come with it. And I've definitely faced that here and everywhere I've been these past 4 years. And so I'm just working every day, like we all are, to learn from my mistakes and to remember that I'll never be perfect, but also to work to be better. Number 4 is I'm working to truly leave everything at his feet. I've heard the quote, "Why are you trying to pick things back up that you've already laid down at the Lord's feet?" And I have that problem not only with being like guilty for my own sins, but also just like shame for things that I've been through that I can't control. And so I'm working on understanding that God does not want that for me, to be carrying that around, but he wants me to put that weight down and leave it down at his feet. And then I can have the freedom that he promises. Number 5, this is the most recent thing I've learned, is that there's a difference between my emotions and my feelings and God's truth. So John 8:31-32 says, "So Jesus said to the Jews who had believed him, 'If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.'" So the more I spend time in the Word, the more I spend time in fellowship with my brothers and sisters in Christ, the more I am in prayer, just talking to God, growing my relationship with him, the more I will know that truth, and the more I can understand that if I'm having feelings and thoughts of anxiety, if I'm hearing things from other people about myself or whatever that just aren't true, anything like that, or even just doubt about like the future, I can rest assuredly that God's truth is the truth, and I can just not waste my time on those bad thoughts. One other thing I skipped earlier, but I just want to say is a big thing that's applied to my life as I move forward, since I'm about to graduate, is I have worries about, not taking the right path after college. But I heard the quote one time that says, "You are not big enough to mess up his plans for you." And so I just felt called to throw that in here in case anybody needed to hear that. And then to conclude, I just want to say that although I've grown a lot throughout college, I'm definitely still very far from perfect and always struggling. Right now, I would say my 2 main struggles are fully and truly putting my identity in Christ alone, and the truly and fully giving things to him and leaving them at his feet. So it's always a journey of, constantly trying to be better, constantly trying to grow in my faith, but I definitely have come a long way, and I'm very, very grateful for that, and I'm excited for what's to come. My name is Jenna, and this is my story.